As per our coursework assignment, we are looking at international procurement management, and our case study is on COVID-19 and global value chains. Here we look at the question that was given to us. Using examples, discuss the lessons learned from the COVID-19 pandemic for firms that engage in global value chains. We'll begin with the introduction, defining a global value chain. And a global value chain is a complex network of activities that companies, countries undertake to design, produce, market, and deliver goods and services on a global scale. It involves various stages, from the raw material extraction to final consumption, and often includes multiple countries collaborating in different aspects of international production sharing. The corona pandemic took the world by storm, and every aspect of our lives was disrupted, from health, freedom of movement, employment, the economy, ability to buy goods, and virtually every global supply chain. The coronavirus pandemic was unlike any other crisis in our lifetime. It hasn't been easy, but there are some key global supply chain lessons to take away from COVID-19. Looking at the first lesson, the importance of building agility and flexibility into supply chain. We look at the firms that engage in global value chain that learn to quickly pivot production to meet shifting consumer demands and address supply chain disruptions by adopting more modular, scalable, and adaptable processes, structures, contracts, responding to customization requirements, and reacting to alternation in product design or in alternative supply sourcing. Over to you, Jackie.
Lesson number 2 is the importance of moving towards a fully digital supply chain. Firms learned the importance of accelerating digitalization efforts to enable remote work, online collaboration, and e-commerce. For instance, companies invested in digital platforms for virtual meetings, supply chain monitoring, and online sales channels to adapt to the new normal. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, Nick used predictive analytics to selectively mark down goods and reduce production early to minimize the impacts. Lesson number 3, we look at the unsustainable just-in-time manufacturing. However much the just-in-time and lean production system helped companies improve efficiency and reduce their need for working capital, during COVID-19, companies learned the need to strike a different balance between just-in-time and just-in-case by having sufficient backup inventory of key parts and safety stock. Over to you, Sophie. It's coming. Sophie's coming. Sophie's coming.
Thank you very much. The next point is appreciate the role of collaboration and partnerships. COVID-19 encouraged collaboration and partnerships among firms within the global value chain because companies recognize the benefits of sharing resources, knowledge, and the best practices of addressing common challenges. For example, the pharmaceutical pharmacies companies collaborated with government and research institutions to see how to develop vaccines that helped with COVID-19. Next is part B of our question, which is strategies. And our first point among the many was risk management strategy. Here, firms need to classify and assess the likelihood and the likely impacts of different risks and design risk management strategies. Several times companies can decide to know which risk they are going to face and sit down and find out, make contingency plans to see how to curb and reduce the impact of a risk on a business. The next point we have is agile strategy. Agility is the ability to sense and respond to changes in an organization's internal and external environment by quickly assembling resources, relationships, and capabilities. So here, companies adopted the agility of, during COVID, of responding very fast so as to carry on with their businesses and serve their clients. So this required processes and management structures that allowed for a swift shift to alternatives, lead change, and maintain its competitive advantage when faced with difficult problems and uncertainties. So if a firm can remain agile throughout the entire period or process, their chances of surviving are much more higher than those who do not adapt to the agility strategy.
Our strategy is investing in innovation and embracing digital transformation of the supply networks. Global manufacturing companies invest and continue investing in innovation because innovation changes rapidly, new trends come. So investing in innovation to the up and recent trends and embracing digital transformation like robotics, digital analytics, enable them access new and relevant solutions in running scenarios and assessing trade-offs and risks, as well as improving transparency within the supply chain and the global value chain. Over to you, Janat.
Okay, diversification of supplier network. And supplier-based diversification is a key strategy for businesses seeking to enhance their robustness against supply chain disruptions. Dependence upon a single supply chain, a supplier creates risks of interruption. So firms need to have a range of alternative suppliers for each of their inputs. So when you diversify your suppliers, let's say if supplier A does not have certain materials, your process in production will not stop because you'll go to supplier B to continue responding to your client needs. And next to Jackie.
Firms that value resilience. The last strategy is the supply chain resilience. Firms that value resilience focus more on the speed of recovery to return to normal operations within an acceptable period of time. So therefore, firms need to develop long-term relationships with their single suppliers other than shifting to a new supplier. In conclusion, the COVID-19 pandemic has been a wake-up call for many global value chains, revealing their weaknesses and vulnerabilities, but also their opportunities and potential. By learning from these key lessons of the pandemic, supply chains are more vigilant and are considering transformation of their challenges into strength to remain more resilient, responsive, and competitive in any future pandemic similar or worse than COVID-19. This brings us to the end of the presentation.
And below are our references.
Battery down.